Hey, we are very excited this morning to have in the studio with us Sarah Lasko, who plays Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, which is showing at the Orpheum right now. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah. So Chris and I went and saw the show, which is, I think, the overwhelming descriptive word is sparkly. It's very sparkly.
There's a lot of glitter.
Yeah.
Very vivid.
Oh, and so Cammie went too. She's like, I need the Good Witch dress.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh.
It's all hand Swarovski crystalled. It's gorgeous up close, and it sparkles under the lights. It's beautiful.
It does.
I wish I wore it.
It's beautiful. My 6-year-old loved it. So we hear this is your first national touring show. Congrats.
Thank you.
And how is that, I'm wondering, different than when you're doing regional theater? All of a sudden you're on the road for months on end. What have been I think you just started, but what have been the biggest differences so far?
You're in a different city, so it's a different it's a different audience every night, but it's been fantastic. We were in Cleveland last week. We had fantastic audiences. I think what I've
Not
known
as
from
good
this
as Omaha, though.
Not as good as Omaha, no. Last night we had a fantastic audience. I thought maybe, a Tuesday people would be like, I'm a little tired. Maybe we'll do Friday. But we had
Opening nights.
fantastic
We get very
group of people.
excited
They
about
loved it. So I'm excited for the rest of the week in Omaha.
I think it'll go well for you. So The Wizard of Oz is an iconic show. How do you make it both what people are expecting, but also something that surprises them a little bit?
Well, I love the movie so much, and I used to watch it over and over again. I had the CD, so I knew every inflection that Judy Garland made, and so I respect what she had from that movie because she just made this character. But I think I bring my own spin to it. I want her to be a real girl. I want her to be someone that the audience today relates to. So I think I find that balance.
There were a couple of moments that I noticed that I thought you had great comic timing, and you don't see that in the movie as much. I think, are there funny parts in the movie? I haven't watched it in years.
You chuckle at it, but yeah.
Yeah, but there were a few points where I was like, oh, that's funny, good one.
Yeah, I love finding the comic aspect in every character, and I think people will be a little bit surprised that this Dorothy's a little funnier than the movie.
For sure she is.
And you and Toto work amazingly well together with a dog that has a little bit of training, I would say.
Yes. He is trained by Broadway Tony Award honoree William Berloni, who has William Berloni Theatrical Animals, and he's been doing the show longer than I have, so he knew it from day one. He was sort of training me, but they're Nigel and his understudy, Loki, because, of course, Toto needs an understudy. They're both fantastic. I feel totally secure with them, and I love having a dog co-star. It's the best.
How long have you been touring so far on this tour?
We teched in Utica, and then we opened in Cleveland last week.
Oh, wow.
And this is our second week of the tour.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
So has Toto gone off script at all on you?
You always wonder during every show,
Right.
what could happen. But Nigel, who is our star, he just knows every bit, and he's ready every night. So I feel safe.
Yeah, like what if I sat in the front row with a big steak sandwich?
That I would be nervous. Yeah, some of the pit members have threatened to bring bacon into the pit, and in which case I think Nigel would leap into the pit. But thankfully they haven't done it yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Only second week.
So I also noticed, I love the characters, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion. They're so funny in this show. But in the movie, I never noticed that they were the same people. I know they are in the dream on the Kansas farm, but it's really apparent in the show.
Yeah, they really do some hinting at the top of the show. But I love being on stage with the boys. I think they strike that perfect balance between, respecting the classic Bert Lars, the Lion, and not being a poor imitation. I think it's wonderful to be on stage with them and hear the audience laughing. I think the Lion gets huge laughs every night.
Yeah.
People just love him. So it's really fun. And they have such great dances, and the Tin Man tap dances, and Scarecrow is doing like flips. It's really fun to watch. I feel very entertained as Dorothy.
Well, let's find out a little bit about you here. Where are you from?
I am originally from Rockville, Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, and I graduated from the University of Maryland and moved up to New York about 2 years ago.
College Park?
College Park, go Terps!
Yeah, all right. I stayed there once.
Yeah, it's a beautiful college, beautiful town.
That was before you even thought of when I was there.
How about the career? So you started out doing, you went to school for this and then did what? And how did you get here to Omaha, the big fancy town of Omaha?
Yeah, I studied theater at University of Maryland, but I actually majored in communication, and I worked in theater in D.C. When I was in school.
Wow.
And as soon as I graduated, I actually I was found by an agency through a YouTube video, and they asked me to come up to New York and audition, and I did, and they said, we'll sign you right after.
Yeah.
I know, it's so serendipitous how that happens, but I was very lucky.
Wow. Working on anything else? I mean, obviously, this is your concentration, but, there's always a future. Anything you want to do?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right now, I think, with such a massive role, I kind of just have to take it one day at a time and not think too far ahead, but I mean, I love doing theater, and I also am interested in, the entire world of the industry, voiceover and TV film. So that's things for the future.
What's your singing background?
I've been singing my whole life. I mean, my parents both raised me on a lot of musical theater history, and so there's always show tunes playing in the house. My dad's a pianist. My mom's a singer and director. Both my brothers play many instruments, so we were kind of Partridge Family in that sense. So there's always singing going on. But yeah, I've been singing ever since I was little. I did my first community theater production when I was 14, and from then on, I was hooked. There was no going back.
Neat. Tell us what it was like to get the phone call. You're Dorothy. What was that like?
Oh my gosh, I was beyond myself. I was actually in rehearsals for a show in Maryland. I did a show in my hometown this summer. And I was in a music rehearsal, and I saw my manager's name come up on my phone, and he only ever calls if I have booked a role. So I picked up the phone, and I was like, hello, and he said, how many seats do you want? And I was like, what? He was like, you got Dorothy. And I started screaming and jumping up and down, and then people were coming out of their offices in the theater because they were just like, who's this girl screaming? And and then he told me a bunch of things, but I said, I have to call my mom. So I hung up and called my mom immediately, and then I had to call him back and be like, what did you say about the details? But it was very exciting. And then getting to call my family who'd been waiting. I waited 3 weeks to find out from finals, so wow. It was a very exciting day.
Has your family seen you in the role yet?
My mom and my dad and my grandma have. They came up last week in Cleveland, and they loved it. They saw it twice.
Yeah.
And we're coming to D.C., so they'll see it again when we're at the National in D.C. in May.
Fantastic.
Neat. So let's say, and we ask this a lot, let's say Judy Garland were able to sit in the front row and watch you.
Oh, my God.
What would that be like for you?
Oh, I would probably cry because I loved her so much. I'd probably cry all throughout Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and hopefully it would sound good. Who knows?
Well, you nailed the song, by the way.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah. And I enjoyed the new songs, too. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, there's some new songs. I love Professor Marvel's new song, just right. And I think my favorite new song of the show is Glinda has a beautiful song at the end of the show called Already Home, and it is so... It's so moving, and I feel like the audience is right there with us the entire time. It's just beautiful.
Let's talk a little bit about the set. Colorful, magical. It takes you right where you need to go each and every time a new set comes out. What's that like, working on that set?
It's spectacular. I think the first time I saw Emerald City in all of its greenery, I was feeling as overwhelmed as Dorothy would for seeing Emerald City for the first time. It's just beautiful, and the special effects are really quite spectacular. So I feel like we keep people on the edge of their seats, from the very opening to the huge tornado sequence to the anti-cyclone at the end. I mean, it's a lot of eye candy.
It is, yeah. A few times you were like, whoa, what just happened? I'm scared. I'm excited.
I saw people jump in their seats a couple of times.
For sure.
Yeah.
And there's flying, there's pyro, we have fire and dogs on stage. What could go wrong?
Nothing. Sounds perfectly reasonable.
Well, all right. So if people want to come out to the Wizard of Oz, we can do so through Sunday. Yes. TicketOmaha.com is where you go to get tickets. What would you tell someone who has never seen the Wizard of Oz, the movie, about the play and the musical?
It's very faithful, and it adds a little something extra, and I think it's a perfect complement to the movie. And after you see the show, go home and watch the movie because it's so great.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I wouldn't miss it. Through Sunday, you have the opportunity to see The Wizard of Oz. Very sparkly, very fun. You were great in it. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you.